Officially
Wait,
live
we're not
on
ready. We're not ready.
YouTube. No?
You gotta get Seamus back on the Iron Throne.
Alright,
I've
you know
won
what?
it. I mean, it's your stream. You do what you
We're
want, but
rolling with it. You
it's
want
my
to
favorite
intro
part.
us?
Yeah, I'll do it. Just tell me when we're ready to
No,
go.
we're good. We're live. We've been live.
Yo, Jake.
So, yeah, okay. So, hello, all of our viewers. We are back again with our weekly Game of Thrones recap podcast. It is the podcast that nobody asked for and probably nobody needed, seeing as there is like one season basically in full left of the show. But we decided that, you know, we
Our
should probably
voices
give you our
needed to
takes
be
on it.
heard.
Yeah, we are the most important people on the show. I don't know, man. I just don't know what I'm trying
Never
to go
heard
for
these
here.
takes before, so.
Welcome back to our podcast this week, Season 7, Episode 3. Myself, Blake of House Burnt Bean, back again with Jockmo of House TrimToes, and we've added a new guest, Chuck of House FishSandwich. Boys, how are we doing tonight?
Doing well. Ready for some delving.
Yeah, me too, what he said.
Ready for some? All right, we are fucking ready for some. Fucking. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't be swearing. I don't know if you've got like a.
There are kids watching, so yeah.
Yeah, there's probably kids watching.
From here on, PG-13. But not probably
But,
rated.
like, you could say, like, ass and stuff. But
What if I said the word titties?
You know, we'll.
Would that get you
I'll allow it.
a not safe for work tag?
I'll allow it.
All right. Well, this week probably the best episode of the season so far. That's my personal opinion. I'm not sure if you guys have any overall thoughts on what happened or what.
No. There's my favorite so far too. Not a whole lot of action, but like a lot of good filler politics going on.
Absolutely. Chuck, what do you think?
I loved it. Great episode. Top 35 overall Game of Thrones.
I won't lie to you, Charlie. I woke up at the most opportune time. It was about 3 minutes before the episode started.
I was banging on your door for, like, at least 5 minutes.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I was.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was unlocked, so you probably should have just came.
No, it was locked. I tried.
Oh, well, whatever. All right, so this week we started the episode at Dragonstone. Jon Snow finally meeting up with Dany. You know, as we all know, this was coming. Jon wanted to make some allies for the war against the White Walkers' army and mine some Dragonstone. So the first scene was pretty intense. I mean, Jon was like, yo, I need your help to defeat the dead people. And then Dany was like, bend the knee. And Jon was like, nah, my guy, I won't do it. So, yeah. What did you guys think of that first opening scene?
I knew when what was it, when Dany sent that message and told Tyrion to send that message to Jon, and he didn't mention bend the knee. Maybe that was gonna make some problems, and it did. I didn't think it'd be that, like, they kind of got really pissed at each other though. I was pretty surprised about that. It was kind of mean, kind of rude.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Jake,
it was.
what would you,
I liked the first little encounter with Tyrion and Jon, throwing back to their wall journeying days.
Yeah,
I was
definitely
looking forward to them
some
getting
old
back
friends.
together.
The Onion Knight tried to put a move on what's her name? Not work.
Missandei, yeah.
Yeah.
Onion Knight. For the Iron
Knight.
Throne.
Ugh,
Any
sorry.
thoughts, Blake?
Got a little bit of acid. I got a little bit of acid reflux right now.
That's
What?
pretty gross.
Yeah. Would you?
Oh, nothing. Just on the
What?
initial encounter, other than the cat fight, the little cat fight that ensued, or Jon and Tyrion, any other.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems to be the biggest problem with Jon is that he can't really convince anyone except people in the north that there is this impending doom about to attack on Westeros.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand from, like, or Dany's point of view and all of them, like, why? Because, like, you've seen Cersei and you've seen what she can do, but you haven't, like, seen
Oh,
North of
absolutely.
the Wall whatsoever. So, like, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, it makes a ton of sense.
yeah.
you know, I mean, Tyrion trusts Jon, so that's one thing that he's got
That
going
helps.
for him. But you know,
Something
it's
else?
just,
Oh, here you go.
yeah. I mean, I just overall this problem keeps persisting of people not believing that the things that Jon's seen, and you know, I mean, again, for good reason. Jake, I'm not sure if you have any thoughts on that recurring issue.
Uh, no, I think it's gonna be hard for him to do so in the next episodes because no one has seen any of that like he has. I think the biggest barrier is that they haven't
Yeah.
physically seen something to like believe a threat, so they're gonna focus on more
Hmm.
earthly, you know, battles.
Yeah. It's you know, Dany wants the Iron Throne, and that's fair. I mean, it's she's probably got the most legitimate claim, I would say, in all of the Game of Thrones universe. Is that yeah? I mean, there's really not anyone else that has a claim to
Yeah.
the throne like she does.
I don't get why she
Um,
can't just
Not
like lay
anymore.
back.
yeah, not anymore, definitely. I mean, you know, there's some people that can kind of fight for it, but
Unless
certainly she isn't
you
in the
were in the
running.
small minority that I am a part of that believe Stannis Baratheon is still alive.
Do you guys ever just like let one rip and then it smells like deviled eggs?
I did when I was working out today. It was disgusting.
Because legitimately that was me about 10 seconds ago, and I have just hotboxed myself in a deviled egg fart smell for the rest of this podcast.
Wow,
Wait up.
that is
Wait up.
nasty.
Where?
Oh my god, it's bad. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Where did Melisandre? Like, where's she gonna go? Like, why is she? Where she said she was going at the end, right there, at the beginning. I mean.
Yeah, so that was that kind of the first scene is Melisandre talking to Varys. I mean, she knows Jon wants her dead because of what she did to Shireen and Stannis and all them. She met with Dany and you know, caused some more problems and was like, you know what, she Melisandre has this way of talking. Whoever like powerful leader she talks to, somehow convincing them that they're Azor Ahai, which is really interesting. Um, but yeah, I mean, she told Dany that, and now Jon Snow's there. She knows that he wants her dead, and she's talking to Varys and was like, "Yeah, I don't want to talk to him. I need to go." So, I mean, what do you guys think Melisandre's next part is? Because she seems to be, I mean, she's not like one of the better characters, but she has a way of convincing people to do things that they normally otherwise wouldn't.
Well, it
I
was
don't think
really
it's the end of
weird
her.
with her.
I'll say that much.
Hmm.
She talked like when she was talking to Varys. She's like, "I will go back to Westeros for the last time, just as you will."
Yeah, so
Like, there's
saying the
some like
last
weird
time.
like
Okay, so
background
here's the
thing.
quote. So here's the quote is she was talking to Varys. She said, this is on the subject of returning to Westeros. She said, "I will return, dear Spider, one last time. I have to die in this strange country just like you." So as you, I mean, probably know, I think they're both foreigners to Westeros. I think Varys is not from there.
Yeah.
I think you know, he's got a little bit of darker skin, which is more common to people Essos. And then the Lord of Light is also something that's a bit more popular in Essos than it is in Westeros currently. So they both know that they have to return to this to um, to Westeros both to die. So I mean, I don't know if you guys have any theories on that or what you're thinking about the quote.
I have no idea. It's kind of scary. It's kind of mean.
Mm,
I'm curious, like what that actually means though, because like there's no like theories or anything about like why did the fuck did like they and oops sorry them like Alessandra and Varys like have to die? Like I
hmm
don't understand that whole thing. There's probably some theories gonna be made about some dudes reading the books. So we'll explain it all later. But right now I'm completely clueless on that.
Jake, what are you thinking about all that?
Um, well, I think it's gonna tie in some sort of way with their or with her religion and the Lord of Light because, like she mentioned, as you will have to die there too, and he has all those the tie-ins from when he was castrated by a red priestess or not a red priestess, but there I know there are ties back in there because the other red priestess talked about Varys hearing words from the fire when
Yeah, I mean, it's
his
interesting
junk was
because,
thrown in the flames.
hmm yeah, I mean, you
So there's
know,
got to be something with that
well,
lord
what I
or
would say is that
religion.
at least the predictions from people that follow the Lord of Light are never really too far off. I mean, we haven't necessarily seen a ton of them be made and then also followed through with.
Except for Stannis
But
getting nanted.
yeah, I mean, Stannis got fucking nay-nayed. But yeah, I mean, overall,
Supposedly,
just
supposedly.
supposedly, yeah, Stannis may not have gotten nay-nayed too much. So I mean, we'll see if we'll see if that happens. I mean, it would probably be correct that Varys will die. I mean, my overall feelings towards the end of the show are that it will be pretty dark and everyone's gonna die for the most part. So
Everybody?
we'll see. Mostly everyone, yeah.
I think Sansa's gonna die this season. Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely gonna be something that's a little bit more twisted happening. I mean, you've got to start shedding storylines rather than.
They did
adding,
knock off a
because
decent amount of like pivotal characters today.
yeah, they really did. Let's see.
The Tyrells got destroyed.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So, yeah, I mean, John, so the whole first scene, still John trying to tell people that, about the White Walkers.
That dragon
And,
scene was pretty cool. Where he swoops over and him and Davos freak out a little bit.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, having John kind of interact with dragons, which, everyone thinks are dead, but, not really. So, it's, pretty interesting, and we'll see what happens there.
It was kind of cool though. It was like right when the dragon flew overhead, and the very first scene of John walking up, he was like, "I'm not a Stark," and then right as they said that, a dragon flew over. Maybe a little bit of little poking at the fact that he's not actually a Stark, and he's right. That whole thing, because he's actually a Targaryen.
Yeah, I did not notice that, but that's actually some pretty sweet, like.
It's a keen eye there, Chuck of FishSandwich House.
Yeah, good work, Chuck of House FishSandwich. All right, so following that, what was the following scene after that?
The meeting.
Yeah, it's pretty much the
Dany
little
and Jon
cat
Melvin?
fight in the throne room.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we kind of touched on that a little bit already, but John's like, "Help me fight the dead people," and Danny's like, "Bend the knee," and he's like, "No." Then it really came down to people are not their fathers. So John isn't Ned, quote unquote, even though he's not Ned's son. Danny isn't the Mad King. So, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of talking, like what, yeah. I mean, people change. People aren't who other people are. So
Yeah.
we'll see what actually happens there.
Take.
They also touched on, my father was loyal to such and such, but that doesn't make me loyal to the same cause.
Right.
Kind of
Interesting,
freeing
though.
them up from any bonds without their consent from prior negotiations or anything.
Yeah, so supposedly the Starks had this perpetual, I think was the word that was used, loyalty to the Targaryens. And Jon's like, yeah, I'm not about it, but I need help. So, we'll see how Dany reacts, because Dany's really trying to make her claim for the Iron Throne, but Jon, again, knows the real threat. And so Dany is just, complicating things a bit.
It is interesting though how she mentioned like, "I'm not my father, like my father's sins or whatever he did does not come back to me." But then they talk about how, well, one of my great grandfathers, your great grandfather pledged allegiance to me. She tries to say that still holds up. I mean, I guess so, but it's kind of funny how she talks about that, and then right after that talks about how you still owe me fealty.
Yeah.
It was super fucking long ago that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of contradicting herself, but it seemed to work. They kind of have a unspoken truce right now with the
Right.
situation.
And so, really, the point of that whole conversation ended up being, Jon asking, "Am I a prisoner here?" or what the deal was. He didn't know if, obviously he was warned by all the people in the North, don't go, because, she will not. She's, a Targaryen, supposedly Mad King. So Jon was asking, am I a prisoner? What can I do? Stuff like that.
Kind of turned into a big dick swinging contest after a while. They're they just kept saying what they've done and stuff. And he's like, "Oh," and then what was really cool was when Onion Knight was talking about took a stab. You got stabbed in the heart for his people, and that cut him off.
Yeah, and then that seemed to have peaked there because she brings it up again later in the episode.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Danny's really interested in what that was said. I wonder if that actually might have something to do with Melisandre,
Sure.
being there.
Yeah.
And Daniel probably, I would assume Danny, trying to conquer the Iron Throne would be interested in being able to not die, essentially.
Well, I
Could be
think it
interesting,
might
though.
go. She'll say, "Hey, Davos or John, what did that mean?" One of them will, tell them, "Yo, I died, but now I'm back." And then they'll say, "Oh, Melisandre did it," and then she'll be like, "Oh, matter of fact, she's on this island." And then there could be a conflict there.
And then John will probably not be too happy to hear that. But
Honestly, I have a little thing. Like this is a little bit later on, but like when John and Danny started collabing, like after just those two, she looked back at him, kind of like she wanted to maybe she liked him. Maybe if they got married, they could kind of both rule together, so he could stay the king in the north and rule over his people, but then Danny could still basically rule the Seven Kingdoms still, if they both live long enough to see that happen.
yeah, yeah, I don't know, Danny. She's definitely interested in John, like as a person. I mean, it seems to be the case with a lot of people, but
Beautiful.
yeah, I mean, he's really interesting guy, good character. I mean,
There's the scene where she, well, I mean, we'll talk on it later, but she grants him access to mine the dragon glass, and when he backs up and goes up the stairs to, do whatever he does, she gives this swoon look, like, yo, maybe he's not so bad.
Yeah.
like I'm trying to get it.
Maybe he'll give me.
All right, so I mean, do you guys have any other thoughts on that opening scene? It was pretty long, but I think we've covered a lot of the main points.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see how they ultimately come together and who's in charge and what's the priority, the dead or Cersei or a combination of the two.
Charlie, you got anything on it?
Kinda, just a little nitpicky thing. Like, honestly, I hope that John and Danny don't get married. Honestly, because that's what everyone thinks is gonna happen. Everyone wants. And, I just think it'd be too it just wouldn't seem like a Game of Thrones thing if what we all think is gonna happen actually happens. So I kind of hope it doesn't happen.
And that's something me and Jake kind of touched on last week. Is we're, at least me personally, I think Jake agrees that we, we're looking for more of a twist, like a big twist coming.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not gonna have the show won't have the most happy ending possible, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's things are people are getting really good at predicting what's going on. So
especially this season, it's been kind of Nymeria thing. Everyone knows what happened. Arya and all of them going back and collabing. I feel in Bran, everyone kind of saw that happening. John and Danny meeting up. Everyone kind of predicted that was gonna happen.
Yeah, so everyone's kind of predicting it. So we'd like to see a twist. I would prefer something a little bit more towards the darker side, just because, it's the tone of the show.
Yeah.
So
I think I read it's supposed to be a fairly dark season towards the end.
Just bittersweet is what Gurm said.
All right, so next scene was I believe Euron entering King's Landing.
Oh, it's parade, yeah. Cool scene.
What a badass.
So I am wholly Team Euron. To recap, he was bringing Yara and then Yara Greyjoy, his niece, and then Illyria Sand and her daughter, one of the Sand Snakes. So that was supposedly his gift that he said he would bring Cersei. So yeah, he was being sheared like crazy through the streets. I mean, as far as everyone in King's Landing knows, that was, the one enemy is the Sand Snakes and Dany and whoever. And so to see Euron come through and kind of roll in with the people like that, definitely a very pleasing sight for the people of King's Landing, especially Cersei.
Yeah, it was I like the parade scene. It was everyone was booing the enemy and praising Euron, and he definitely feeds off of momentum and reaction and stuff. So that was a cool scene. I like how he just trotted his horse up into the keep.
Yeah, that was
badass.
Awesome. Yeah, Euron really, I mean, he said, the actor who plays him said that Euron was going to be worse than Ramsay this year. And so far, he's living up to the hype. I mean, Euron is just all over it, just crushing people, and it
Yeah.
is fucking. It is really great to see. Personally, being a Team Euron guy, but overall, just for the show, I mean, having someone, this kind of new villain. One thing that I kind of wanted to touch on with Euron is that he has, the Iron Fleet, or some of it at least, and like the role of, at least in the sense of warfare, like how does a navy react? I mean, a lot of these troops are all land based. Not actually none of the other armies, to my knowledge, have a navy. So you
Mm-mm.
want to, you have to wonder what kind of role a navy plays in this type of warfare, because it's supposed to be the best in the world is the Greyjoy fleet. But at the same time, no one else has a navy. So how is it going
Yeah.
to be used? And I mean, it's so powerful, but what does it really mean?
When Danny mentioned at one point about just like she's gonna take those 3 dragons and just go burn all the ships, like
Hmm.
I'm curious if that weapon that what's Cersei's hand's name? Weird guy.
Qyburn.
Hybrid. I
Kyburn,
wonder
yeah.
if he's like where those like crossbow, whatever the things are called, have been placed. Like, are they already on like ships and stuff, or just on the walls? Like, because if she did take her dragons and like they had none of those like what are those gun things, catapults, whatever the fuck they're called.
Hmm.
Sorry, swore. Like those things will stand no chance against the dragons. She could take that whole thing out, easy.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, is that the Greyjoys are supposed to have this all-powerful naval fleet, but in the show, I mean, it seems like they're somewhat useless, and also, I mean, they've made them look like they aren't as powerful as they actually are.
I think
Maybe
what
they're covered in inflammable pajamas. So
I think a big like
Jake, do you have
plus.
any
What's
thoughts
up?
on all that? Do you have any thoughts on all that, the naval aspect of the
Yeah, I
Greyjoys?
think the Navy, like the strong point that they have is that, like in the ending, close to the end scene, you see Casterly Rock and King's Landing are both uh, like on the coast, so they can provide protection from
Sure.
invading ships, which is like a big aspect. You don't need to attack ships, but as long as you don't let them land, like that's a big thing they got going for them.
Right, definitely, yeah. So be interesting to see how that factors in. I mean, that's just kind of the historical aspects of me, and I think we're all kind of pretty interested in things like that, as past wars and whatever. So interesting to see how the Navy kind of factors in with this mostly land-based war that is to come, especially between Cersei and other rulers. Let's see. So Euron comes in
can I say
talking
one more thing
about,
about Euron, real
yeah,
quick?
absolutely. I mean, we're still
Yeah.
on him, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Dope. In the books, I haven't read them all. I've only read like the first 2 now, but like
Mhm.
I know I've seen it everywhere. You've probably seen it too. He's like he is so much worse than he is in the show so far. Like I heard just like yesterday, in the books, he like killed 3 of his brothers and raped 2 of his like killed 3 and raped 2 of his brothers. And then he like impregnated this woman and hung him up on the front of his ship and like cut her tongue out and used some like black magic thing to make him like some like black magic like mini god. So he's
Mhm.
crazy in the books, and he's not that crazy yet. But they say he's gonna get more like worse than Ramsay. Hopefully, some of that stuff comes out. Maybe with Yara, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Euron, I would, from what I understand of him in the books, agreed is that he is, like, just such a savage, and hopefully we continue to get that from the show, because I mean, like we said, he has lived up to the hype so far, but he's still got a lot of work to do.
I rewatched last week's episode, and a point or a scene I didn't catch the first time around was he put the 2 sand snakes that he killed on like the front of his ship. The one he strangled was like dangling from the little pole
Oh,
sticking out
okay,
from
so that's
that,
what that
and
was.
the other one was like body was just tied around it. I didn't really notice that, but it's kind of
Yeah,
what
okay.
it's showing off and
Yeah, so I didn't
rubbing it in.
recognize that that's who that was.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, but
both
that's
killed by their own
definitely
weapons.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
By their own weapons.
Yeah. So Euron comes in, straight savage. Following scene, I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts on Euron. I mean, it's pretty straightforward what was going on there.
No, that's
All right, so next scene would be Cersei, I think, down in the cells with what's her name? Uh,
Ilaria and
Ilaria and
Sister
whatever Sand
2.
Snake.
Other
Yeah,
sense.
Sister Two
Sand
Snake
Snake number
Sand.
2.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're all dead.
Yeah. So Cersei's in there, and Cersei kind of just flaunting her shit again, like, "Fuck you, Sand Snakes and Ilaria for killing my only daughter." Thought that was kind of awesome.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was. I like the route she took with the poison instead of
yeah.
crushing her head or decapitating her or peeling skinning her or anything.
Hmm.
That's gotta be one of the worst ways to go out. Watch your child just slowly die in front of you, and then just watch her rot. Like that's just fucking. That's just terrible.
Oh, it's horrible.
I feel
And
bad for her, even though everything she's done. I feel bad for her now.
I mean, yeah, she sucks, but I would say that, maybe not. This might not be the correct word, but I think Cersei is a little bit justified in doing what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a dark way.
Hmm. Yeah, she's eye for an eye basically. She's doing a little bit harder than Ilaria came at her, but she is on some straight savage right now. So she said, "I'm gonna give your daughter the poison. I'm gonna make you watch her die." She said, I thought one quote that was really cool was like, "If you try to starve, like we will force food down your throat so you stay alive to watch it." And I thought that was just awesome.
I'll be interested to see if like when she kissed the sand snake, if that was actually poison, or if it was like a
Yeah,
placebo mind game. Like she'll be expecting death, both of them will be, and it'll never come. Like it'll just torture them, psychologically more than.
right. Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. I mean, that's something. The fact that she didn't kill him straight away, though, leads me to believe that they'll still be around for some kind of, they'll still have a role to
Yeah,
play.
they'll have a part
Yeah.
at some
Yeah.
point for something.
Um, One thing I thought was interesting also is following that, Jamie goes and she's trying to get the shaft from Cersei's trying to get the shaft from Jamie. So whatever happens, but I feel like Cersei I don't know if you guys caught this, but she took a sip of like a small like bottle of something, and I didn't know what it was. If it was just regular booze or whatever, or if it was like poison or what.
Oh, like down in the cellars with Ilaria.
Yeah, so she took the sip of
Yeah.
something.
It was
that was to like heal it. Yeah.
It was the cure for the poison she supposedly just gave the sand snake.
All right, and that's what I thought, but I thought it was weird that Cersei ingested it. I don't know if it was like when she kissed the Sand Snake girl, like she was transferring it to her or what.
Yeah, because
like
that's
how-
what the
yeah.
mom did to Marcella. She did that, and then when they were gone, she took the cure.
That makes sense.
If she wouldn't have taken the cure in front of them, they probably could have figured out that it was fake if it was, or anything like.
Right, right. Okay, sure. So that makes sense. So Cersei is straight savage. See her try to get the wiener from Jamie.
She also kissed Jamie right after kissing the other sand snake and killing her. I know she took
Yeah.
the cure, but what there's some leftover on there. I doubt that's the way Jamie dies, but
No, yeah, I would. That's something I also was considering, but I think it's a little bit far fetched.
and they
Unless-
showed him later on. Like I think he's okay.
Right. Let's see. So Cersei tries to get the shaft from Jamie.
And succeeds.
Yeah, she gets it.
And she pretty much just doesn't care that the handmaiden, or the whatever chambermaid, sees them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
together.
at this point, most everyone knows that that's what's occurring.
Yeah.
That her and Jamie are kind of a thing.
But I mean,
I'm
if
pretty
that
sure
gets
everyone
out,
knows.
that could be something that the people have reason to like get up in arms about.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's something that's definitely,
It's been like it was rumored like throughout like all like the series though, but no one ever. I don't think anyone ever knew except some of the lords and people like that it was actually true. Like it was like rumored around like the common people like knew they had heard stories about it, but no one knew if it was true or not.
Sure. Let's see. So what was the scene after that? I think they went to, was it Winterfell or was it back to I think it was Winterfell after that.
Oh yeah, with Bran and yeah.
Yeah, so Bran finally making his return to Winterfell, him and Sansa.
That
Bran
was a
tries
weird
to-
reunion.
Yeah. Very
Yeah, it was very weird. So obviously, hugs and tears, whatever. Sansa's really happy to see her brother. But then you get to the scene at the Godwood tree, and Bran's kind of explaining what he is and what his role is and all that. And gets a little bit freaked out by it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird how he approached telling her he was so calm and everything. It was just kind of weirdly
fan- I'm not-
portrayed.
I'm not a fan of Bran anymore. I don't like how he just like
I've
no
never
emotion.
liked Bran, but he has like no emotion towards anything but
Yeah,
it's consumed him being the three-eyed raven.
it's kind of, I don't know. And then like he mentioned at the tree, like he's like, I saw you in the woods with Ramsay. I saw you get raped by him. It's like, okay, like why? It's just weird. I mean, I know he's
Yeah.
trying to prove a point to say that he sees everything, but still, like it's kind of mean.
Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, he is all seeing. You know, I mean, it's got to be hard, you know, after seeing what he's seen and being what he's been through,
True. Yeah.
to have to kind of explain it to someone else. But it just, I don't know. It didn't really make sense that Sansa was just like, "What the fuck," and just left. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
How's he
I'd
gonna
be
get back?
freaked out too if someone told me something that they didn't see about me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it would be weird, but just, you know, I mean, Sansa's supposed to be all about her family, kind of, and
I was
the
really
fact that she's
hoping,
just not really doing anything about Bran. I mean, it was just overall a weird scene, I thought, for her
yeah,
to
it
react at
was.
least.
I was hoping that when the guy's like,
But yeah.
"Oh, Sansa, you must come to the courtyard," I was hoping it was Arya.
Hmm.
Now that I saw that
Yeah,
reunion,
that's what
I
I
look
thought, you
forward
know.
to that one so much more, just because it can't be worse.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was gonna be one of two people, either gonna be Arya or Bran coming back to Winterfell. So when he's there and they got the reunion, but it just, I don't know. I don't know what his, like it was just a weird scene, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's his means of transportation now? Like, how's he gonna get back? He was out there completely by himself.
Yeah, I don't know. He's gonna
He's gonna
crawl.
crawl, just crawl all the way back.
Mm. Yeah, so I mean, interesting to keep an eye on. John will obviously be back in Winterfell. You know, judging by the trailer, John will have to make it back there eventually. So I don't think he's gonna be stuck in King's Landing. That's something we can talk about at the end of this. These are our predictions for the future.
Brand knows.
Yeah, so Bran knows, you know, what it is, and that was what he said. Is I've talked to John. Um, so interesting that, I mean, that he knew that John was still around, because I mean, it didn't seem like he knew any. Like, you know, last week when Arya was like, "Oh, John's still alive, and he's, you know, the king of the North," and
Yeah.
it was just,
Well, he does see everything though.
I mean, he does see everything. So does that mean he sees everything that's going on, or just the
Well, he
past?
said he sees fragments of the present and the past. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
so it
that's
could get
like
mixed up.
if he sees everything in the past or just like certain parts, kind of like he was able to when the other three-eyed raven was alive.
Yeah. So I mean, Red definitely. Excuse me. Let's talk to John, and we'll see. You know what he's got to say. I mean, he's obviously going to tell him that he's not Ned's bastard, and see how that plays out compared to him and Danny. So I wonder, actually. I mean, do you guys think that John and Danny will like hook up and be a thing?
Um, I think the show is intentionally wanting you to think like that, and I think it'll
Right,
get
because I'm
close, but ultimately I hope not.
sure. What I'm trying to go for is I wonder if there's any kind of parallels to be drawn with John and Danny to like Jamie and Cersei.
Oh, um,
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
because the Targaryens always wed like brother, sister, all that stuff.
Well, that one
Yes, they were
would
kind of
be
similar.
what niece and aunt.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
nephew, and yeah, same thing.
yeah. Knees and ants. Yeah, I mean, I don't
Isn't
know.
it?
Just kind of something I just randomly thought of a second ago. But you know, I mean, it would seem to hold true that, you know, the Targaryens did the same exact thing. So I mean, you know if they're gonna be similar or what the deal is there.
Kind of want it to happen, but I just think it'd be like I said earlier, like that'd just be like what everyone wants and everything that happens. So I kind of
Mhm.
hope they don't, but I'm torn on it. Either way, I'll be happy, honestly.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. So, you guys have any other thoughts on what was going on in King's Landing this episode?
Uh,
Nope.
no, not so much.
All right. So I think the next scene was back at Dragonstone with Danny and John. If that's right. I'm not sure if you guys
Yeah,
remember.
or with Tyrion. I don't. One of those.
At some point in there, they went to Jorah and Samwell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that actually might have been next, which not a too major scene, but I mean, it seemed like the Archmaester's
Ye-
kind of gaining some respect for Sam.
Yeah, I think. Well, my newest thought is that they mention, oh, or well, first of all, they're like, oh, I could I do this for you since your father was Lord Commander and he helped me a lot. And then
Right.
he takes off or whatever he does, and he gets, I don't know if it's his punishment or reward or whatever, to transcribe those those scrolls and books. I'm thinking he's gonna find something else useful in those.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like maybe John's lineage or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. I mean, it's that seemed like too much of a, I don't know. It seemed like that would be too important to the show to include that scene.
Yeah.
It seemed like there actually has to be
Unless,
something going on.
yeah, unless like you said,
Yeah,
they're just kind of showing respect from Archmaester to Sam.
Right.
You can't just have Sam's like whole story for the next like month just be him rewriting stuff. Like, we're gonna see him again. He's gonna do something interesting.
It's gonna be like that poop montage, but it's just gonna be writing.
For like a little like 5 minutes every episode. That's it.
Just writing montage for the next 4 episodes.
Well, I'm wondering if
Actually, I'd be okay with that.
did
Do
he
that. Put that in there.
he got that book with the dragon glass from the restricted area, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
So
answers
obviously,
mine.
yeah. So I don't know if that will play in, Sam being able to cure Grayscale, but
Make a Valerian army out of all the old grayscale dudes.
yeah, that'd be interesting.
I did
don't
read
know.
somewhere that there's like a decent sized stash of like Valyrian armor and swords on in Valyria. I wonder if like
Yeah, there is.
the ability to heal people will risk or will warrant a risky a little trip to
Yeah,
Valyria
really,
to.
Yeah, I feel like those guys up there are too far gone. They've already lost their minds.
Oh
Like, I
well,
don't know.
not those guys to like grab weapons and armor.
Oh yeah, like I read something earlier, some theory about like it was here Tywin's brother. The Lannisters used to have some really nice Valyrian steel sword, and somehow it ended up in like old Valyria, and their brother went out there. Tyrion's not Tywin, not Tyrion. I keep saying that. His brother went out there to find it and never returned. Like apparently everyone that ever goes to Valyria never returns. So, I mean, they could do it. Maybe they send like a ton of people, but like it'd be super risky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems a little bit far fetched to try to get to those guys, but at least going.
I definitely
a trip to
think
Old Valyria.
there'll be some sort of revisiting of the area because we've only seen it once when Jorah and Tyrion go
Yeah.
through.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense to do it.
Yeah, there
I
should
just
be. Hopefully, they come back to it. It looked like a cool place with all the dragon buildings and. It looked
Right.
cool.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, it seems like kind of a big storyline to add at this point, but it
Yeah.
also seems like it could be something that's advantageous to the fight against the White Walkers.
I feel like that'd be something that would happen like maybe after the fight for the crown is over and they're actually fighting the war up north instead of the war down there. Because right now I feel like no one's gonna take the time and risk that many people to go get that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't seem really worth it at this point.
Do you guys think they'll like prioritize, getting rid of Cersei, getting her out of the picture first, and then hitting the army of the dead, or withstanding? Or do you think it'll be like they'll try and do one and get hit by the other? And
I mean, Jon knows the threat, obviously, so I would wager that he's gonna be able to convince Dany. I mean, Tyrion knows that Jon's, even though he hasn't seen it himself, Tyrion knows that Jon is not lying, right?
yeah,
So why would you
So-
risk going down there for that?
Right. Tyrion, obviously, I mean, Tyrion's a smart guy, so his input to Dany would probably be like, "You gotta listen to Jon, like he's right." But Dany's a little bit on a power trip, so I don't know if she's gonna be like, "No, like this is what we're
Yeah.
doing," and then Tyrion won't have any power to say like, "All right, well, I'm not doing that," or like, "We shouldn't do that,"
I think honestly, I think you have to go for Cersei first though, because like if they fight the war up north and just ignore Cersei, they're gonna lose a ton of people and they'll be even worse off later on. Like I think if they fight the White Walkers now and leave Cersei's gonna end up winning anyway. And
Right.
the
I mean,
hard work.
Cersei is the more immediate threat, but it's just, what are they gonna do? It's what do they address first? Yeah, so I don't exactly know what they're gonna do. So I mean, it's kind of all in Dany's hands right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Jon's got the North on his side, and he knows the threat, and everyone's kind of got his back, but we'll see. I mean, one thing that I think is interesting is Sansa's in control of the North right now. So, do you think she will continue to somewhat undermine Jon?
Uh, to a degree, I think she'll, roll her own way while kind of sticking true to Jon's words, and then I'm sure Littlefinger will, twist her views and stuff in some sort of ways.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I kind of forgot about this though, but like Sansa told Bran that like he's like the rightful heir to Ned. Like, do you think that people will like want to make Bran their leader instead of
I
Jon?
mean,
Like, what Bran's gonna care about that?
so that's something
I
that's
don't know.
interesting. I mean, that could make sense. The thing about Bran is that he is one of the only other people that have White Walkers.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, whoever it is in the North is gonna be against the White Walker threat.
Yeah.
I think Bran might be a little bit more powerful, but Bran was very adamant about I'm the three-eyed raven.
Yeah, he
And,
didn't want.
I'm not gonna.
He wouldn't accept it, I don't think, if they wanted him to anyway.
Right, Jon is more of a king type.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Also surprised. I was surprised Littlefinger was just right there, right when we went to like Winterfell, was just right next to Sansa, like immediately. Like it's like I thought Sansa was like a little bit mad at him, or they weren't really on like talking terms. Last time we saw them talk, if I remember correctly,
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty surprised to see him already there and talking to her. After
Yeah.
Jon,
I think his whole thing is just staying close and being able to contribute to any conversation or hear anything he needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I thought was interesting is that Sansa brought up, the lack of food.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not sure what kind
That'll be
of role that'll
important.
play, but I mean, obviously, if you're fighting any war, having food and supplies is something that's crucial.
Yeah, I think if
Um,
if and when the wall falls or they find a way around it or over it, and houses above Winterfell and to the sides get hit first instead of just running straight south, they'll probably take their steps back to Winterfell and then go from there. And I think if that happens and they
Right.
start running out of food, there's going to be some sort of crisis. Do we leave? Do we call for aid? Or there's going to be some sort of conflict there if that's how things play out.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm kind of curious how far they let the White Walkers move until, like, because if you keep moving back, you're surrendering all the families and like their houses and their homes that live like up in the north. So like you can't just back up and just like just say, oh, sorry, and just let them all die. Like,
Yeah.
you have to stay there and fight.
Right.
But they've
I mean,
already
we'll see what happens. A lot of people are thinking that the White Walkers will make it all the way to King's Landing, which is
Jeez.
much further south than.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just kind of agreeing.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see what happens there. So yeah, and then one of the final scenes I think we're getting onto now is back in Dragonstone, and so I mean, Jon obviously talks to Tyrion. He's like, what can I help you with, if anything? And that's when we get to Dany saying, yeah, yes.
Yeah, you can mine it, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of weapons they come up with.
Mm-hmm. And she said she'd provide the men and the resources to get it. So, I mean, she seems like she's supportive of Jon at least.
Yeah.
So, it seems like they're developing more of a positive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was definitely a good idea. Let him do the dragon glass. That was a good move because now they need each other a ton after Dany's entire
Yeah,
army
especially
is
since she
basically
lost,
gone, and it's just
the two
basically
supporting
Jon and
family
her,
heads.
which is the world, I'm guessing now.
Yeah, and Dany, perhaps a little bit too much, placed all of her trust in Tyrion's judgment. So, I mean, we'll see how that kind of plays out if she's invested in him a little bit too much. I mean, Tyrion's a very smart guy, but who knows if he's. I mean, he obviously doesn't have all the answers. So,
You don't got the answers.
He doesn't.
Tyrion, you don't got the answers.
You don't got the answers. So yeah, says you go on Dragon Glass. That's when she gives him the look of, I'm trying to get piped the hell up.
And then she's gonna see all the scars. What happened to you? And be like, I was dead, and I can't have children.
Yeah, so
Balls don't work.
Interesting thing about Jon is, I don't know if it was brought up in one of the last episode, but the fact that he's basically reanimated, so he's like essentially a White Walker, but of Lord of Lights.
Undercover.
Yeah, so well, he's not a White Walker, but like he's a reanimated person by rather than ice, like the White Walkers. It's by fire, by the Lord of Light.
Yeah, that probably should play in somehow.
So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, obviously, you know, as they've said before, the more times that someone comes back from the dead, the less like themselves they are. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows how John will continue? I mean, he seems like essentially the same person still, but I mean, that just simply can't be true. Like, there's got to be something about him that's missing.
Yeah.
Tucker don't work.
No dick.
I'm curious though if there's gonna be like, I mean, this is kind of probably a far-fetched thought. Like, I wonder if like there's gonna be anything that's gonna happen because like John was brought back from the dead, like the White Walkers, not the White Walkers themselves, but like
Right.
the Army of Dead. I wonder if anything's gonna like happen because of that correlation. I don't think so, but
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something more to it. I mean, you know, I don't think it's possible that you just come back from the dead and are just the same.
I think it'll be a little different, you know, if you say like something with the Night King and John compared to like Benjen, who was killed or, you know, stopped by the children of the forest. So maybe like there could be, you know, some correlation between him and the Night King. I would think that'd be a little more likely than someone who died and was resurrected without any influence of the White Walkers.
Sure. Yeah, I would say that, you know, that's definitely something that could be connected as a parallel like that, like John and the Night King being somewhat similar in, you know, what they're doing, but who knows. So yeah, as we kind of progress to that final scene at Dragonstone, they're talking about their attack on Casterly Rock. Tyrion obviously had designed it a little bit with the sewers, so the Unsullied were able to make their way in. Whatever he said, kind of a callback quote, and he's like, "Give me 10 good men, and we'll take it."
Oh yeah, Bronze quote.
Yeah.
Then you see
cool.
Bronn later with the Lannisters. Oh no, it's those
Bronn and Lord Tarly.
Jamie and the Sam the Tarleys.
And his son, whose name is Dickon.
Great name.
Dickon. So that's also kind of a callback. I think Ramsay actually said something similar as well when he got Stannis' camp. Is like, give me
X
he
did
men.
say that.
Yeah.
20 good men.
Yeah. So, you know, there's kind of a recurring theme going on of not needing too many people to inflict some serious action on some significantly sized armies. Yeah, I mean, so, you know, the Unsullied were, well, they suffered a lot of losses. That's something to maybe keep an eye on because, yeah, I mean, Dany, the Martells, as we'll get to in a minute, she's lost the Tyrells. You know, I mean, all she's really got is the Unsullied and the Khalasar left, and you know,
dragons.
And a dragons, obviously, and that's a huge factor. But you know, losing men is just never good.
The invasion of Casterly Rock, that happened, right? That was like a legit event. The way they
that was happening.
Okay,
I
because
don't think
when they played it,
I was like, is this happening?
It was Tyrion like talking and like about what was gonna happen after the after the actions showed up.
Mm-hmm.
It was a different scene. I don't think they've done anything like that before. Any other fighting scenes?
It's just like
usually it's just actually fighting.
Freaking
and that's just it.
Dunkirk movie.
Dunkirk was awesome.
Dunkirk, worst.
Did you see it, Jake?
Yeah, I saw it. It was okay. It was like a 5 out of 10.
Gotta see it in IMAX.
The order of everything was just horrendous. I did not like any of that.
Good point. We could do a Dunkirk podcast next.
But that's besides the fact. So at the very end, it was the Unsullied and Casterly Rock with Euron on the beach or like in the water,
that was something that I thought
Jamie
was
approaching, right?
Awesome. I don't think it was. Well, was Euron at? Was he attacking Highgarden or was he attacking Casterly Rock?
He was at Casterly Rock.
Okay.
Right, yes.
So Lannisters
and
at,
Jamie was at Highgarden.
So you see Greyjoy ask, "Where the hell are the rest of these people?" And then he looks off to the side, and the Greyjoy fleet is attacking the Unsullied, which I was very hyped to see.
Yeah, I don't. There's some time stuff in this season. It's messing me up. Like, wasn't he just in King's Landing?
I mean, I don't know
Isn't
if
King's
Euron.
Landing like pretty far from there? I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
I
he
don't
could
know if
still be
Euron
there. It
himself
could just be
was.
his ship.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I'm
Is I don't
pretty
know.
sure. King's Landing and Castle the Rock are literally on like opposite sides, so you have to go all the way around Westeros. There.
Well, isn't there
Right,
a
so
river that
Pretty
goes
long.
through
Unless
the
he split
continent?
up. Could split up. Is there like a river or something like they could go through?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was maybe Euron wasn't necessarily there. He could have just sent his fleet.
Yeah, bringing a map up to see. Curious.
Yeah, I mean, I was so hyped to see Greyjoy banner there. You know, he was just destroying all of those ships. I'm not sure what you guys thought about Euron on straight savage, or his fleet at least, but
Yeah,
that was
Whenever
probably
stands a chance.
I am a big Jaime guy, so my favorite stuff was anything he was doing. His marching his army.
definitely.
That was always cool scenes, even though it was just literally him on a horse. But
yeah, I mean, Jaime's definitely growing on me as a character at least, but you know, for me personally, not just that I like Euron, but seeing like his ships there just attacking the Unsullied, like this dude is relentless. And,
Yeah.
I don't know, just seeing the Greyjoy banner was one of the coolest scenes of the week
Yeah.
for me. Even though it was a relatively small scene, like your Grey Worm looking off and seeing that, but
Small scene, big impact.
it looks like
Yeah.
now that they're gonna be stranded at Casterly
Mhm.
Rock, right?
right,
Like
yeah,
Dragonstone with Stannis
Yeah.
in the other war.
yeah. So you know they're stranded there. They don't really have any other ships because Euron attacked the other Greyjoy fleet. The Martells are done. The Tyrells are done. I mean,
Well, it's
you know,
It's-
Dany's just kind of stuck.
it looks like instead of destroying the armies, they're just breaking them up because the Martell army isn't like necessarily dead. It's just both of their leaders are captured. They never like went and picked them up.
Yeah.
right.
So they're
that's
still
true.
over, or
so
Dorne,
who's
over
next?
Dorne.
Who's next in
Right.
command at Dorne though? Like, are they still gonna? Who are they gonna elect as their leader? Because
I mean, they still got.
He's dead. I'm pretty sure, right?
I think Ilaria's son that was gonna marry Myrcella is still alive.
Oh
Not
no,
wrong.
but the
No,
son
he got
killed too.
yeah.
Remember?
The Sand Snakes stabbed
Really?
him through the
Yeah.
face.
Like, I think that whole family tree is like wiped out. So like, I don't know if whoever they get to be the next leader is gonna side with. Because I'm pretty sure the whole reason the Dorne were fighting with Dany is because they just wanted to see Cersei get killed.
Yeah,
in the
just wanted
It was
mountains
a
and all that.
revenge thing, yeah.
hmm Yeah. So something we can kind of get into next is the Martells or the Tyrells. Excuse me. You know, I mean, they just got wiped the fuck out by Jaime's army.
I
Essentially.
loved that last scene.
That,
Yeah.
was good. That was a good lesson.
Instead of just brutally murdering Olenna, she sits down with her, and does
Oh,
everything
yeah, she-
She
calmly.
got the last laugh though.
But
I feel
then-
like telling her that she killed.
Yeah, at the very end,
Oh,
she
my-
drops the bomb.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was probably one of the most, if not the most impactful scenes of the week. But Olenna saying that she killed Joffrey, I mean, that was wild.
Yeah, that was a very cool
Mic
scene.
drop.
Because now you just took a very, mild demeanor Jamie and probably just, infuriated him with,
Yeah,
one group, even though they're already wiped out. When she's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
right.
did we put up a good fight?" He's just like,
Mhm.
"Yeah,
Yeah, he's like,
Smartly,
not so much."
smartly got herself killed before she told them that. Good move
Yeah.
by her.
that was
Poison.
yeah. I mean, I just can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mad respect
you
for
know-
her for just kind of owning up to everything and going down like a trooper.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess we never really did hear. I mean, who killed Joffrey? I mean, you always had the expectations, or I guess the suspicions of who it might have been, but hearing the fact that she was the one that did it was just absolutely
Yeah.
electric.
I think the only other thing mentioned
saw
is
that.
Littlefinger said he played a part in it, but he never came out and said
So, yeah,
it
you
was
wondered.
me.
Right,
Littlefinger
so
does
you-
something with everything. That dude's a sneaky little guy.
Yeah, so you got to wonder what kind of alliances are all made. I mean, to drop something like that on us,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who is actually working together and who's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very cool. So I mean, Jaime
Yeah.
just wipes out the Tyrells, comes in, great last scene. Olenna being like, fuck it, I'm gonna die. I killed your son. Just wild stuff.
I mean, yeah, she has nothing to lose. Why not, go out with the last
bit
laugh.
of pain before she goes. And she, for being a super old lady, she's.
Yeah, she is definitely a hard ass, and it's awesome.
I was surprised Jamie didn't like freak out and like murder her right there.
Yeah, I mean,
thought he said.
I thought he was going to, but then I'm like, I was hoping he didn't because I wanted him to be, I'm hoping ultimately he becomes
you
like
did see some
sort of know, peaceful force while also being a badass.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you did see kind of some change. I don't know if change necessarily, but something kind of turn on in Jamie there.
Yeah.
At the end when she said that, he just, his whole demeanor changed. He was about it.
I really like Jamie, like you guys are talking about. Like I love him. Well, I'm just worried for him because like when this war ends, if the Lannisters lose, I can't see like them letting Jamie live. Like
I think one thing he has going for him is that he maintained a great relationship with Tyrion.
Yeah.
Right.
So if either Jon or Dany comes into power and Tyrion's still around, he's gonna have a say in keeping him alive.
Yeah, but he is like playing a big part in the war too, though. Like he's killing like it's. I just think it'd be hard for him to like become this. Oh, he's a good guy and destroying the other side.
True.
Really.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Jaime's very loyal to Cersei, obviously.
Yeah.
But if all factions blow up and it becomes everyone versus White Walkers, then he could definitely hang around. That's what I'm hoping. I love him so much. I got to see his butt today. It was a pretty good day.
Nice. So yeah, I mean, we basically covered the whole episode. I'm not sure if you guys have any thoughts back on that.
Say that again. Sorry.
I mean, we basically covered everything that happened this week. I'm not sure if you have any more thoughts or whatever.
No, I was gonna mention a couple of things related to next week.
I have something for this episode, really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm curious, like, who's the mastermind behind like the Lannister army? Like, who knew to do what they did? Jamie? Was it like Cersei? Like, I just want to know who's the genius with all that. Like, with the Greyjoy fleet going to Highgarden, but taking the army and like leaving Casterly Rock. Like, whose idea was that?
I think it was like a collab of Jamie and Cersei.
Yeah,
because he mentions he's like, oh, they can take Casterly Rock for the time being. It's worthless right now.
Yeah, Jamie essentially was like, I've learned from my mistakes against Rob.
Yeah.
So
it's like he knew that it was already happening, but weren't those fights happening like pretty simultaneously? So he must have known before Casterly Rock fight even happened that it was gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, well, Tyrion said like they know we're coming.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Ooh,
so they must.
Another scene we forgot that could be a big thing next week is the Iron Bank getting on Cersei's good side.
Yep.
Yeah. So something we actually forgot to cover is the Lannister always pays their debts, but they don't have any money. So we'll see how that rolls out.
They attack Highgarden, you can see them like ransacking the gold in there after they kill everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wonder if that played into Jaime's decision to go to Highgarden, is because he knew he could get the money that they needed there.
Yeah. Just if they get their support and get backed up even more.
If I'm not mistaken, the Tyrells are the richest house in Westeros. Maybe even regardless of the Lannisters, is that the Tyrells are super wealthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that factors in.
Money wins wars.
I mean, yeah, definitely. But then overall, even what does money matter in a fight against the White Walkers? It just doesn't at all.
That's true, but like money buys you more, dragon catapult for your walls and ships.
Right.
Buys you
like money. I mean, money's very crucial.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Once it's humans versus White Walker, I think that whole currency goes out the window.
Yeah.
Right.
True, but
yeah, for now, it definitely is something that's significant.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So, I mean, yeah. So, what do you guys think of? So, we covered this whole episode, and now we're kind of getting into it. I mean, what else do you guys think is going to occur next week or in the coming episodes? Any big predictions, whatever? I'm not sure if you guys have any thoughts on all that.
I'm hoping we see some more Arya. I'm hoping she meets up with either Sansa or Jon, preferably Jon, because they had like a nice little relationship. And I really hope we get to see the Hound and Thoros and Barrick and all them, because last we saw him, he pretty much like foresaw how they get past the wall over by Eastwatch by the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping, he's on the move. They're heading south. I'm sure we'll get an update at the wall from Ed and the brothers and everything.
Right. Yeah. So.
I'm sure we'll get an update on where the army is, the Army of the Dead.
Yeah, it's about time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm agree with everything Jake said. I think Arya will obviously be back in the mix. We'll see where she's actually decided to go, be it King's Landing or north to find her family.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta wonder how that will kind of play out if she goes north, because we saw the Sansa Bran reunion. I wonder how Sansa would react to Arya coming home.
Yeah.
They kind of used to have some beef, but I think that'll be thrown aside.
Well, Arya will be hopefully better because she's still deep with her family, whereas Bran kind of gave up, his Stark and family and everything to be the Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah. Not that he's not a Stark anymore.
No, but
he's
yeah. The ties aren't as strong as they would be with Arya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Arya's. I think now it's a bit of a nostalgic kind of thing.
Yeah.
For Sansa's, and that's why she was so hyped to see Bran without knowing whatever they've been through. So yeah, and we'll see that. I'm gonna say Gendry. I'm predicting still waiting for him to come back. He's we know he's coming back this season.
There are a bunch of people I want to know the whereabouts of.
Yeah. So, Gendry, we know he's coming back this season. You've seen the behind-the-scenes shots. It looks like he's met up with Davos and Tyrion on Dragonstone, which is, that's where he sailed away from, but it looks like
big lap. He's all the way around Westeros in his little canoe.
Yeah, so it appears he's now going to be back in Dragonstone, still waiting for Gendry to make his reappearance and meet up with them. But, one thing that a lot of people are saying is, all right, now Jon's got the dragon glass. You need a blacksmith, and who's gonna make all the weapons and shit?
Very true.
Gendry seems like the guy, so we'll see what happens.
About Gendry is, I don't know if you guys remember when Tywin called in those blacksmiths. He said there's reshape ice, the Stark's Valyrian sword. He said there's only a couple blacksmiths that can reforge Valyrian steel, and one of those blacksmiths was Gendry's master. So maybe he knows how to do it himself.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, hopefully, he will be having a part to play in the coming events. Yeah, I'm not sure. kind of the natural progression of this episode, what happens with the Iron Bank. What does the Lannister army do next? How does Dany react to, the Unsullied and whatever? But, kind of you can extrapolate kind of the progression to next episode. But I'm not sure if you guys have any other big predictions for what might be happening soon.
I've still got 2, but I don't know if you have any more, Jake.
No, go ahead. I can talk after.
Real quick about Arya, I'm still not 100% sure she's going back to Winterfell, because I'm pretty sure she is, but that scene with Nymeria really makes me think she may not be, because when she says that's not you, the whole thing with Nymeria is she grew up with her family, with her other wolves, other dire wolves, and then she left because she had to. That's the same thing with Arya. She was with her family, but then she was forced to leave, and now Nymeria's found her own way. Maybe that meant by her saying it's not you, and maybe she wants to keep going on her quest and not go back to what things used to be like. I still think she's gonna go back to Winterfell. But I just thought it was interesting how they didn't show any of her today, so maybe she's not going to Winterfell.
I'm sure we'll get a lot of Arya next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we get we saw a brief thing of what's his name, Theon, Reek now probably, or getting picked up.
Yeah, it's something we forgot about to cover, is that he was in this episode.
Yeah, he just got picked up by a random ship.
Raider.
Greyjoy ship, yeah. I want to see. Where the hell is Ghost?
Yeah, that's something that we haven't talked
I haven't
about.
seen Ghost. I don't know where is Podrick.
Yeah, so I think Pod was there with Brienne. He's getting kind of murked
Yeah.
by her
Is
in
he?
training.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who else was I thinking
I
about?
think-
I'm hoping for a Benjen scene again, just because I like him.
Mm-hmm. So
Hopefully,
yeah,
yeah.
I got a little finger guess.
yeah, go ahead.
Next episode. I feel like he's gonna make major moves next episode because I'm pretty convinced that like he knows about John not being Ned's son because he's hinted at it a ton of times like in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or one time they're in the crypts. Like I think he knows, and I think it's gonna come out next episode.
Yeah.
Situation.
How many he
Might use it as
talks a lot
leverage
about
to.
how many people had to die because your Rhaegar chose your Aunt Lyanna.
Yeah, and then like one time they said the crypts thing. I don't know when this was. I forget, but someone said mentioned how Rhaegar raped Lyanna, and he's like, "Oh, really?" or something like that. He made a little snide comment about it. It's like, I'm pretty sure he knows or has an idea about it.
Yeah, so I mean, he's, somehow John's gonna find out, and if it's not through Littlefinger, it'll obviously be from Bran soon. So we'll see how that goes down.
Yep.
Let's see, yeah, and I think we've touched on.
All right,
You know,
let's
most
go
of the
around.
movies.
Any specific, out on a limb predictions for next episode?
Charlie, you can go first if you got one.
This isn't out on a limb, but in the preview it showed Sansa looking at some letters, and a little guess, maybe she's writing a letter to John to tell him about his heritage. I don't know.
All
Just
right.
a guess.
Okay. Good one.
Jake, you can go ahead. I'm trying to think of one.
I think we're gonna see Jorah and Dany meet up again. I think it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna find a way to Dragonstone, and it's gonna make
Yeah,
some
I mean, he did
yummy
mention
dynamic.
today, he's like, there's only one place for me now, and it's
Yeah.
with Danny. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
but-
See what that means.
Bring back the ship. Give me
Mm-hmm.
Dora.
So for me, I'm gonna say, I don't know, not super out there, but I'm gonna say that we're gonna see a little bit of a, I would call it premature from a militaristic sense. That I'm gonna say we're gonna see an invasion of King's Landing.
Okay.
Because Danny's got the Unsullied are all fucked now, kind of at Castle Rock. So Danny's like, all right, I've got to go save them, or I've got to use my dragons, and I've just got to go like murk some people. So that's my take. Is that I would kind of agree still that it's a little bit too early for her to do so, but she doesn't really have any other choice at this point.
Okay.
That was mentioned in the preview. I'm pretty sure it said like forces are gone, no more playing around, and it showed like I think it was hinting at them as going straight for King's Landing. So.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna say is gonna go for. I don't know. You guys got anything else, or are we about ready to wrap it up?
No, I think we're shut her down.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, thanks for everyone who is listening or will listen. I don't know if Jake's putting it on YouTube. Do you do that?
Yep. It's going on YouTube right after.
All right. So yeah, we'll listen. Our Game of Thrones podcast that nobody asked for, so we're doing it anyways.
I did name it, by the way.
Yeah.
I went ahead and
so
named
that's
it
how
Through Macumber's Eye because of the when Old Nan is like, oh, Old Nan says we all live in a blue-eyed giant or named Macumber. Thought that would be cool. So that's what I rolled with.
That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. I'm a
Very
fan.
nice.
So
All right, well,
the second official episode of Through Macumber's Eye.
yeah.
I am down with that.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in a week. Peace.